democracy may not be suitable for all countries. Government to focus on two aspects in RMK11 half-term review. Hello and good afternoon. You're watching News on 2 with me, Muhammad Amin Carlos. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad says democracy is not suitable for all countries because each country has its own culture and some cultures are so strong that it is difficult for them to change. He said democracy is not perfect in society where there are differences in cultures.
According to Tun Dr. Mahathir, the mindset necessary in a democracy is that people must be able to accept the role of the winner.
We think that the only system of government that should be practiced by all countries must be the democratic system. But the democracy is not something easy to handle. The basic rule, of course, is that the majority of the people have a right to choose a government to govern their country. But even in a democracy, there can be threats to.
Tun Dr. Mahathir further noted that democracy is not a perfect system and has its disadvantages. The Premier said this after delivering a talk on the future of democracy in Asia at Chatham House, the Royal Institute of International Affairs in London.
The Pakatan Harapan's administration progress report in the first 2 years is among the two aspects focused by the government in line with the tabling of the half-term review of the 11th Malaysia Plan, RMK11, in Parliament on 18 October. According to Economic Affairs Minister Dato Sri Azmin Ali, the other aspect would be on deciding on various strategies on the direction of the national economic policy according to the PH Manifesto.
Dato Sri Azmin said the strategies are currently being scrutinized by the Economic Planning Unit.
Pembentangan kajian separuh penggal kali ini agak unik kerana ianya bukan sahaja membentangkan prestasi ekonomi negara dalam tempoh 2 tahun pertama RMK11, tetapi memandangkan kerajaan Pakatan Harapan baru saja dibentuk selepas bulan Mei yang lalu. Maka Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri dan Jemaah Menteri telah bersetuju supaya kementerian membentangkan menyediakan kajian separuh penggal yang mengandungi dua pendekatan.
The minister said this after chairing the 6th retreat session in conjunction with the 24th Ministerial Level Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand IMTGT Growth Triangle meeting in Bandar Hile, Melaka yesterday. Commenting on the retreat, Dato Azmin said the ministry was confident the firm cooperation among the member nations of IMTGT was capable of facing the challenges of the Industrial Revolution 4.0.
The Royal Malaysian Police, PDRM, viewed seriously the allegation that police had stolen 43.3 million ringgit of the total cash seized at Pavilion residences. And commenting further, Inspector General of Police, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun, said the allegations had tarnished the credibility of PDRM, especially in such a high-profile case. Well, in a statement released yesterday, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi said PDRM had complied with the laws during the search and seizure at the residence of former Prime Minister Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak and were also assisted by the Pavilion residences, the management, and Bank Negara Malaysia to avoid any dispute. Well, he also said that all the officers and personnel picked to carry out the search and seizure have been briefed in detail by the Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director, Dato Sri Amar Singh Ishar Singh, to ensure that everyone was in full compliance of the law when carrying out their duties. Now, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi further said any party with credible information or evidence on the allegation should lodge a police report for further investigation. The IGP also advised all parties not to make any statement that can cause negative speculations or touch on racial sensitivities such that can make things worse. The public should be made more aware about managing people in need of palliative care. And elaborating further, Women, Family and Community Development Deputy Minister Hannah Yeoh said the people should be educated on palliative care, as the number of people who needed this service would increase in the future.
Hannah Yeo said some of the main concerns families experience are getting the right facilities for family members who are terminally ill, requiring special care at home. She said an organization should be set up that will provide such services, and it is important to start creating awareness on palliative care. The Deputy Minister said this after launching the Speak Up, There's an Elephant in the Room campaign organized by Hospice Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. Hospice Malaysia Chairman Datin Kathleen Chew said people with friends and families with terminal illness should not fear, but instead talk about the end of life.
So our aim and our mission at Hospice Malaysia is not just to provide the care that we do provide to about 2,000 over patients a year, but we want the whole country to be aware of it and to really demand for this care from public sector as well as the NGOs. And the campaign is to ask people to speak up as well and just talk about these difficult issues.
Palliative care is a service that provides an extra layer of support for patients, their families and caregivers at every step of a patient's life, limiting disease such as cancer, organ failure, and HIV, AIDS, or progressive neurological disorders.
The Petaling Jaya Magistrates Court has granted the request of the police to exhume the remains of Cradle Funds and Urian Berhad's Chief Executive Officer, Nazrin Hassan, for a second post-mortem. Now, Nazrin, who died in a fire at his home on 14th June, was found with 30% burns on his body at the upper floor of his double-story house in Mutiara Damansara. And Magistrate Noor Arifin Hisham made the decision to allow the second post-mortem in chambers, and the exhumation process will take place tomorrow. Now, on the 6th of August, the Selangor Criminal Investigation Department had reclassified Nazrin's death as murder under Section 302 of the Penal Code following an investigation by the Fire and Rescue Department that found traces of petrol on the scene. Now, on the 4th of September, Nazrin's wife and her ex-husband were remanded for 7 days to assist in investigations into the case. Now, following which the victim's stepsons, aged 14 and 16, were also remanded on the 9th of September. Then later on the 24th of September, Nazrin's sister-in-law and her husband were remanded for 4 days. However, all the suspects have been released after the end of their remand period. Well, heavy rain and strong winds yesterday in several areas in the Klang district damaged vehicles, public amenities, buildings and houses. However, there were no reports of injury in the incident, which began at 2:30 p.m. Now, in a statement released, the communication unit of the Klang Municipal Council, or MPK, said trees were uprooted and traffic congestion occurred in more than 20 areas in the Klang district, especially along Jalan Tengku Kelana, Jalan Tepi Sungai and Jalan Taiping. And uprooted trees also badly damaged 3 cars in Taman Berkeley. MPK, however, directed all departments to get involved in clearing uprooted trees which blocked roads. Now, meanwhile, Selangor Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Azman Shariat said traffic flow was generally slow due to the rain and uprooted trees lying on roads. He said that in North Klang, trees were uprooted along Jalan Sireh at the exit to Taman Seratus and right up to Jalan Batu Tiga Lama. And Superintendent Azman further noted that only one lane of the Musaidin Bridge from South Klang to North Klang was open due to uprooted trees. The attitude of dog lovers who refuse to cooperate with the agencies involved and an uncontrolled influx of dogs from Kalimantan are among factors for the increase in rabies cases in Sarawak. And Deputy Health Minister Dr. Lee Boon Chye said both these factors thwarted attempts to control the stray dog population.
Jadi kita juga harap kalau ini perlu kerjasama di antara jabatan dan juga komuniti rakyat jelata supaya kita mengawal. Sebab kalau kita lihat bukan setakat case rabies, dog bite incidents di Sarawak pun meningkat compared to last year. Jadi kita anggap ini perkara yang serius dan perlukan kerjasama antara jabatan-jabatan kerajaan dan juga community.
The Deputy Health Minister said this after closing the World Cancer Leaders Summit in Kuala Lumpur yesterday. According to a statement by Health Director General Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah on 22nd August, since rabies was declared an epidemic in Sarawak from 30th June last year to 21st August this year, there were 13 reported cases, including 12 deaths, with a mortality rate of 92.3%. Last Thursday, the Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee, in a statement, declared 5 new areas of rabies outbreak, bringing the total number of positive rabies locations to 41.
The police detained 34 individuals, including 2 members of a drug syndicate, at an entertainment center in Dang Wangi, Kuala Lumpur last Friday, and seized various drugs estimated to be worth 230,000 ringgit. And Bukit Aman's Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID Director Dr. Sri Muhammad Saleh said following the arrest, police conducted checks at a car park in Dang Wangi and seized 181 bottles of drinks and 408 powder packets suspected of containing methamphetamine hidden in a car. Now, the NCID director also confirmed that 32 of the suspects were remanded for 2 days to assist in investigations under Section 15, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Now, the 2 other suspects were remanded for 7 days from Friday under Section 39A, Subsection 2 of the same Act. And Dr. Sri Muhammad Saleh said this at a press conference at the Kuala Lumpur Contingent Police Headquarters yesterday. Well, coming up, Renault unveils new urban electric vehicle. Stay with us. Low-cost carrier Air Asia Berhad has launched a new route from Johor Bahru to Ipoh, with 4 weekly flights between Senai International Airport, Johor, and Sultan Azlan Shah Airport, or LTSAS, in Perak.
Air Asia Chief Executive Officer Riyad Asmat said the launch of the new route signified the airline company's efforts to provide more domestic routes nationwide.
New connectivity, we believe that we will also be able to look at people visiting Ipoh and Lostar from Johor Bahru, boosting the numbers of tourists in these 2 cities. We're committed to further grow tourism by improving our connectivity with unique routes, and hope that our service to Ipoh will also bring in economic contributions in terms of tourism receipts, job creations, and opportunities for local businesses to thrive.
The Chief Executive Officer said this after greeting the first 120 passengers on the inaugural flight in LTSAS Ipoh Perak. Also present at the airport was Perak Menteri Besar Ahmad Faisal Azumu.
Real Estate and Housing Developers Association Malaysia, REHDA, is committed to ensure buyers would benefit from the exemption of the Sales and Services Tax, or SST, on building materials. And REHDA Chairman Dr. Ng Siang Leong said he has instructed all developers to quote a lower price for potential buyers.
At this stage of time, we actually, REHDA's stand is to ask our members to reduce, to pass on the benefit of this tax exemption to the house buyers, to reduce the price and pass it on to the house buyers.
The REHDA chairman said this to reporters after attending the Malaysia Property Expo, MAPEX 2018 in Kelana Jaya, Selangor. He further noted that a revision on the possibility of lower housing prices is still ongoing and the result will be announced in the near future.
And on the eve of the official press day for the Paris Motor Show, Carlos Ghosn, Renault Nissan Mitsubishi's chairman and CEO, unveiled Renault's newest urban electric vehicle, the KZE, that he says will be introduced first in the Chinese market.
Ghosn on Monday told a crowd of journalists and attendees at the Paris Motor Show that though starting in China, the scope is global. During the unveiling, Ghosn praised China as the largest and most promising market for electric cars and one where the government is putting the most incentives to support electric cars.
And for the moment, the Chinese market is the most promising. It's the largest market, and this is the market where the government is putting the most incentive to support electric cars. So we go there. Now, we have, and again, this is a global car. The vocation of the car to be on every single market.
Gon's electric strategy dovetails with his diesel reduction strategy. He told a plenary ahead of the KZE unveil that Renault is cutting by 50% its diesel offers, and Nissan, part of his overall alliance, will completely exit diesel.
This afternoon's edition of News on 2. In our top story, democracy may not be suitable for all countries due to differences in cultures. News on 2 will come on again at 7 this evening with more updates. Till then, I'm Amin Carlos, and thanks for watching. Good afternoon, Malaysia.